Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and sort of a rant video, I suppose. Before I get to that, though, a very, very, very important reminder that the fundraiser continues. At the current time, my scooter is completely and totally immobile, and I am where I'm sitting now, unable to move even if I wanted to, without the assistance of anyone helping with me doing so. Therefore, the fundraiser continues, and it is imperative that you guys do whatever you can to help. I sincerely mean that from the bottom of my heart, and I'm ever so grateful for whatever you can do. There is a spot fund link below the title in the description, as well as in a separate section below that. Any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Uh, my scooter batteries were supposedly charging, and it gave all indications that they were charging, and now the scooter itself will not go whatsoever. They were not charging. They may have been being drained entirely. I don't even know. So it is crucial that you guys do what you can with the fundraiser. I need to be able to get a technician out here to look at this and replace parts as needed, which is obviously uh, an issue that needs to be rectified very soon. I do want to extend the gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing. Your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. On with this video. So my apologies for being absent as of late. I've been dealing with this scooter issue on a psychological level, and it has been quite taxing to say the least. Um, I purchased this scooter outright uh, following my mother passing away, um, with some of the insurance money that was delegated, and I purchased it directly from the company itself, Amigo, and it served me well up until now. I have had obvious issues with the seat, which was rectified thanks to many of you out there who were very helpful in contributing to the seat and getting that straightened out so that my back is no longer in pain, and I am no longer in a situation where I can be damaged worse than I already am. At least not physically. Psychologically, this is taking quite a toll on me. I'm used to being able to move back and forth to and fro as I please, and having to depend and rely on someone to help me with this is really, really taking a psychological beating on me. Um, However, I am here nonetheless. Um, but I'm here to talk about my disability and to talk about the different obstacles I face. Um, this being one of them, quite obviously, uh, but throughout my life itself as well. So, this is sort of a retrospective, albeit brief. And if people want to know more, you can find my Facebook link in the description. You're welcome to reach out to me there. There's also my email address also in the description. You're also welcome to reach out to me there if you so desire. Um, so, I've been disabled since the age of 4, and and I I attended uh, what would be considered um, not even special education. They were confined classrooms, really, back in the early to mid 1970s. They were these like segregated classes where people with disabilities were placed, no matter what your disability was, you were just put into a generalized classroom with other people with other disabilities. It didn't matter um, if you were a genius or whether or not you were mentally challenged to the point of barely being functional. You were stuck in this classroom. And unless the teachers recognized that you were on a level where you could absorb and learn things, they basically gave you crayons and a piece of paper and said color. So that was how my early education went. Now I honestly didn't know anything was different. I was not really told I was different. So for me, my reality was my reality. I never questioned the fact that I was disabled and that I was different. Um, I was able to move around. I was able to feel everything. I was able to do things that I could do, but I couldn't do things that I used to be able to do. And it just seemed as though it was a natural progression in my life as opposed to something radical that had happened. I didn't really question the issue until years later. Um, and not to get all uh, spiritual or anything, but I was told repeatedly growing up, pray to God and you'll be healed. Um, Now, whether or not I was healed on an emotional, mental level where I was able to accept what had happened is questionable, and that may be what happened, but nothing physically was altered. I still was disabled and have been since the age of 4. Um, I technically died and was brought back by resuscitation. And I was dead for a little over 6 minutes, which caused uh, some significant damage to the motor areas of my brain as well as the visual um, areas. So it's difficult for me to see small print and certain other visual limitations. And I obviously am not able to walk whatsoever. And I am uh, dependent on my scooter to get me to and fro. I have dexterity issues. I can only use one hand, and I'm limited at that with that. So there's quite a bit that came about as a result of my disability, and all the physical therapy throughout the years that I received really did not. It helped, yet it left me at a plateau, if you will, which is what I was told and how it was defined. Um, I do feel like, in a lot of ways, I could have gone slightly further. A lot of the suggestions that were being tossed out at the time that I was told this and subsequent to that were rather radical procedures. There was one procedure which is actually quite commonly done where they actually, doctors sever an individual's hamstrings to loosen the muscle tone within. Now, for me, that would have been detrimental as I depend on my mobility and my ability to actually utilize my muscle tone in my everyday life to get myself from place to place. So, from transferring to my from my scooter to my bed to the couch, wherever, and for me that would have been an option, and it was suggested several times over the years. Um, but that was really the only corrective measure that was ever, and it's debatable if it was corrected, but the only operation that was suggested. The other um, th- physical therapy that was recommended was intensive uh, physical therapy workouts and balance training and retraining. But unfortunately, insurance only covers so much, which is the problem that I'm running into with my scooter now. Um, the laws have changed, making it more difficult to get what people like myself need. And this is where a lot of us need to speak out, as I am, because this is a really difficult situation mentally to cope with. Um, I I don't know how to really say this. I mean, I've been in situations where I have faced similar precarious scenarios where I've been marooned, so to speak. But I haven't really faced a scenario quite like this where I have been completely uh, dependent, completely 100% um, unable to move back and forth, to and fro, go outside for that matter. You know, I'm just in a trapped state of being physically, and I'm trying not to find myself in a trapped state of mind. With that being said, so yeah, this is not a good thing, um, and these are situations that people with disabilities do face. I touched on this when I reviewed that Netflix film. You can find it on my channel with uh, the gentleman who had uh, communicative, communicative, hard word to say, communicative issues. He had a disadvantage or a disability whereby he could not articulate words. And he was utilizing a text where he would have someone direct his hand and he would press buttons to type out words. And I touched on some things in that review that were rather personal. And for years, um, as I stated there, I was unaware of Social Security disability. I was unaware that I was bringing in any type of financial income into my parents' household. And my mom was really controlling in finances and financial aspects of my life, to the point where when I started college and I had to list my my earnings or what I was receiving, um, I was basically told that well, you must be receiving Social Security disability, yet you have to give us that amount for the financial aid aspect. And I vividly recall calling my mother on the phone and asking her about this, and her saying, "Well, just bring the paper home, I'll fill it out," and telling her, they want this now, otherwise, it's not going to be a go. And she reluctantly told me what I was getting, and I didn't question it really. Um, I was just told, don't get any wild or crazy ideas with that. And I didn't, in all honesty. Um, it would be years before I actually even had my own bank card. Uh, and, it was just so much control because it was something that was an easy situation. Um, you have a steady source of income coming in, and a dependable source of income coming in that's not going to diminish. You're uh, not going to uh, really sabotage that. And I think that's what my mom thought. Um, one could argue that she had my best interest in mind, but I was never aware of what I was getting, and when I would ask, I was told it was none of my business, even after I was an adult. Um, I attended Wilkes University in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I obtained a bachelor's degree in sociology, minor in journalism. Not things I wanted to do. I wanted to major in journalism. I wanted to be an author. I was told that was not a feasible job option for me, and that I needed to think practical, in the words of my mother, and so I was talked into sociology, and then subsequent to that, I was immediately enrolled in a master's program at the University of Scranton for rehabilitation counseling. And I didn't want to be a counselor. I was good at it. I am good at it. But it's not something I wanted to be or do. I did not have any aspirations about being in the counseling field. I wanted to be writing. I wanted to be creating music and um, just art. Art. It was all things that I had passion for, and I was never really passionate about counseling. And there were certain situations where I was talked into volunteering at certain places, um, and I would do so for 6 months to a year, um, to attempt to land a position with them. And ultimately, that never happened because they saw me as more of a client than as a professional due to my disability. Unfortunately, that's the mindset in this area in northeastern Pennsylvania, as well as elsewhere, I'm sure. It's a universal thing to look at someone and stereotype if you don't really know. And we all do it. It's something that I'm even guilty of. But you have to have an open mind at the same time. And I try to always have an open mind. I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And I humor people. If they talk down to me, I have no problems taking that stance of just, I realize these people aren't aware of my intellectual abilities. They don't know any better, so they're going to talk down on me and talk down to me. And I let it go. I humor them and they go away. But, you know, people that I have been involved with romantically, at times, all depending on situations, have stood up for me in situations like that. They basically have said, why are you speaking to someone with um, master's degrees like that? Um, different situations like that. Or uh, at one um, local bar I was at one night, quite a while ago now, about 5 or 6 years ago, a woman was commenting to me that, in this tone as well, it's so nice that you're able to get out and socialize. This is so wonderful. And I looked at her and I said, yeah, yeah, it is. I didn't really patronize her too much, as far as um, appeasing her um, supposed, I guess, intended gesture of kindness. The bartender set her straight by telling her, who the hell do you think you are? This guy can run circles around you with his education. But, um, those are things that people with disabilities can and do face on a daily basis, more than once a day in many cases. Um, so it can be frustrating. It really can be. And I think that if I didn't have the education I have, I would be looked down upon further. Yet it's not what I wanted in my life. I wanted to travel the course of the starving artist, for lack of better words. I didn't care. And it wasn't about being successful. It wasn't about making a name for myself. It was about expressing my own artistic vision for whatever it might be, writing, music, whatever. Um, and I admit I'm not the most talented individual in those realms. But at the same time, I never really had the opportunity to shine in those areas either. So who's to say what would have been and what could be? Um, at the current time, I'm working with some uh, software that can allow me to make music. I'm writing consistently. I've been writing consistently since 2011, and 2011, and it's 2024 now. It's just to give you a rough estimate. And it was sort of an off and on thing with writing. I haven't really written consistently, and when I have lost some material due to my one hard drive crashing and other issues. So it's not always been things that could be helped, and I I do want to get published, and I intend to publish my work, and that's a goal that I will do. Um, but for me in my everyday life, being confined to this scooter is my reality. Um, and yes, I'm able to move and feel everything. I'm able to interact with people. I'm able to have romantic, intimate situations and relationships. But I am not able to ambulate. I'm not able to walk. Um, and because of that, I'm facing this dilemma at the moment where I am stuck. And unfortunately, uh, the spot fund was necessary to raise funds for the scooter and repairs. And unfortunately, as well, uh, things that I have obtained and replaced were not the things that I anticipated malfunctioning. Therefore, I would not be making this video at this time. But it is really something that I think I needed to bring attention to. I'm not sure how many people will see this. Hopefully, someone will, someone who this might give you a change of heart. This might change your perspective on people with disabilities, and it might also enlighten you to what's possible. Because I've always believed that someone could do anything they put their mind to, and with the right means, the right way to do things, you can. And I always had this philosophy that if I come up to if I come across a wall in the middle of going somewhere, there is always a way to get over that wall. And it's not necessarily getting over it. It might be going around it, it might be going under it, but there are ways to navigate beyond said wall, beyond that obstruction in life. In this case, for me, it's the spot fund, and your contributions coming in to raise enough funds to get a technician out here to look at the scooter. For others, it's other things, but this is something that is unfortunately a crucial, dire thing at the moment, and I needed to bring urgent attention to this matter. So I really want to thank all of you for watching this and for exploring my channel. I have a plethora of videos on music, films. I'm currently rereading Atlas Shrugged. Still, there is a review of that forthcoming. Um, and of course, that's the Ayn Rand classic novel. And after doing that, I plan on doing some more Ayn Rand as well as some other authors as well and other reviews. But it's really a this is sort of a cathartic video for me to make. And I'm not one to typically complain about things or preach about things. But there are stereotypes when it comes to disabilities. Um, One I recall fondly in a strange way was a girl that I knew in high school. And I'll end with this shortly. Um, she had approached me in the hallway by ourselves and had told me that her parents had donated to Jerry's Kids. Now, and for those of you who are unaware what that means, that is kids that suffer from muscular dystrophy, something that I do not have. I am undefined, actually. My disability, because it came upon me at the age of 4 as opposed to birth on, I am undefined. I'm put in the cerebral palsy category, but that's not technically where I belong. It's simply easier for doctors. I digress, though. Um, she had said this to me, and I thought that's great for the kids that have, muscular dystrophy. I'm not one of those people. And she said, "Oh, I thought you would be because you're in a wheelchair." And that was sort of the stereotype in the 1980s and 70s, was that anyone in a wheelchair had muscular dystrophy because so much attention was brought to this because, due to Jerry Lewis and his telethon. Um, and it's a great cause to champion for in terms of raising money for that. At the same time, though, it it sort of stereotyped um, disabilities unintentionally, and I realize it's unintentional, and uh, that doesn't make it easier, though. And I still have to correct people, left and right, as to myself and what my situation is. And I have no problems talking about my disability, obviously, and I always am open to talking about it. And if anyone wants to discuss it further, reach out to me once again via the Facebook link in the description or via my email address in the description as well. I'd love to hear from you. Also, feel free to comment below. Any and all comments are welcome, positive and negative. And please, if you can, contribute to the Spot Fund account link below if you haven't already done so. I really, really would appreciate it now more than ever. Thank you so much for all of your time and patience and for listening. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.